I didn't make this intro sooner, but I'm gonna say it. Product provided by Capcom here, and it's now time for a proper intro. So yeah, if you saw the other one, I didn't make that intro, but I'm now making it now because we finished the first case. This is the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection, and let me tell you, I've been dying to do this. I'm not kidding. I've been dying to do this for so long. If you saw the demo, then you know what's about to come. And since you've already done, if you've done the demo, you can transfer your save file to here, which is what I did. And now we're about to get started. This is the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Yeah, not my best way to intro it, but I already did it with the demo already. Hello everyone, MegamanNG here, and it's time to get started. As you know, we've already done the first game, or rather, we did the first part of it, the first case actually. And here you can choose between any of the following. You could choose the first game here, or you can choose the second. What makes it interesting is that there is also an episode select, which means you can start any case at any time. But I'm going through it in order. So, yeah, you have the first Turnabout trigger, the captive turnabout. Yeah. They had to make this a lot better. And yeah, the game, and if you're watching this, the game's already out. So, we're about to get started. As you know, I won't be doing Prosecutor's Gambit, not yet. Not until the first one's finished. So, let's get this party started, shall we? Let us begin with Episode 2, Turnabout Airlines. Now begins Episode 2, Turnabout Airlines. The murder that occurred in my office. The return of the great thief Yaragarasu. Thinking back, everything began on that fateful day 2 days ago. 2 days earlier. Yes, everything began high up in the air, 9,000 feet in the air to be precise. Thank you for flying GoU Airlines. We are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. We are asking all passengers to please return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts. March 12th, 6:13 a.m., flight G390, first floor, lounge. Why do I feel like I just woke up from a horrible nightmare? 6:13, huh? Guess I was out cold for about 10 minutes. Huh, slight turbulence indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. For your safety, we ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. I suppose turbulence is to be expected on a flight, though admittedly I'm less than comfortable with anything resembling earthquakes. What's this? A travel wallet? But it's not mine. How did someone else's travel wallet wind up in my pocket? My head. Why won't this headache go away? I'll take care of this travel wallet later, or hand it off to an attendant. From earthquake-like turbulence to an elevator. What am I doing hesitating like this? Actually, I know full well why I hesitate. It was when I was still but a young child. I was caught up in a murder that happened in an elevator. But how long am I going to let my past haunt me? It's just an elevator. I'm a grown man now. I need to behave like one. What the? What in the world happened?
Is there something wrong, sir? I must ask that you please return to your seat.
He's dead! Please calm down. We mustn't jump to conclusions without all the facts. What's wrong? Did something happen? You murderer! No! You have it all wrong! It wasn't me! March 12th, 6:41 a.m. Flight G390, second floor, first class.
Everyone, I am sorry to interrupt, but I have an important announcement. I am one of your flight attendants today, Rhoda Tenero. Unfortunately, we have just had a minor accident on this flight.
An accident? Don't treat us like we're stupid. I caught a glimpse and it was a murder. What? Murder? What's going on with this flight?
Everyone, please calm down. There's no reason to panic. This flight will stay on course and make its scheduled landing. We are still currently in the middle of a rough patch of turbulence. So until we are out of this area of turbulence, I ask that you please remain seated.
But someone was killed, right? I mean, what about the killer? Let me off!
Please, there is no need to feel threatened. We have already apprehended the culprit.
I ask that everyone please remain calm. What the heck is he talking about? Why should we remain calm? My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecutor, and I assure you I am not the killer. Ha! Being a prosecutor doesn't make you incapable of murder, buddy. Now you listen here. I am not the killer. I simply found the body.
So you say. However, I am sure that you are the perpetrator of this crime. I swear on my honor as a professional flight attendant.
Oh, is that right?
I know what I saw, and there is even very strong incriminating evidence to back me up.
What kind of incriminating evidence is she talking about?
We've already alerted the proper authorities at our destination. Until we land, you will remain in our custody by the powers vested in our captain. I'm very sorry, but please understand our situation.
Your situation? I'm more concerned with mine and the direction it's going in. I'm not about to just sit idly by while I get accused of murder. Miss Tenero, is it?
Yes?
I was wondering if you might give me a chance.
A chance? To do what?
A chance to plead my case, and a chance to ask what you meant by incriminating evidence just now. To accuse a passenger of such a grave crime without allowing him to give a proper defense, can the professional flight attendant inside of you really call this action righteous?
You have a point. Very well, I'll listen to what you have to say. But be wary of what you reveal. I'm afraid you'll only look even more suspicious if your explanation fails to satisfy. I also do not have the time to deal with you all day, so please make it quick.
Of course, as you wish.
Good. Very well then. Let's get started.
I know for a fact that I didn't kill the man in the elevator. What I don't know is what sort of evidence she has up her sleeve. But I'm certain it doesn't fit with how the crime really occurred.
Testimony. What Miss Tenero saw. I swear to tell the whole truth as a professional flight attendant. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Edgeworth, I am certain you are the killer. The scene I saw in front of the elevator. It was you standing there with fresh blood dripping off of the murder weapon. So if you would please cooperate, we'll turn you over just as soon as we land.
That's it? That's her evidence?
I don't think you could ask for a more perfect witness testimony. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth?
Not really. It's hardly perfect when there's a gaping hole in it. A gaping hole so big as her head.
I swear to tell the whole truth as a professional flight attendant. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Edgeworth, I am certain you are the killer. The scene I saw in front of the elevator, it was you, standing there with fresh blood dripping off of the murder weapon.
You're so full of it, it's not funny. Believe me. Miss Tenero.
What is with the yelling all of a sudden?
Force of habit. Well, it doesn't matter. Miss Tenero, you say you saw the murder weapon dripping with blood. Is that correct?
Yes, all that blood. Drip, drip, drip. Just recalling that scene sends a chill down my spine.
Sorry, but your so-called professional flight attendant training has failed you.
What?
I'd like to direct your attention to this. Do you know what this is?
It's a travel wallet, right? But it looks a little big and bulky.
The thing you saw me holding when I discovered the dead body in the elevator was this very travel wallet, Miss Tenero.
What? Impossible.
Now then, do you still think I am the killer? That I killed him with a travel wallet?
But I saw blood dripping from the wallet. I know I did.
As you can see, this wallet is clearly stained. But if you would be so kind as to take a whiff, I think you agree it's only grape juice.
Then...
That's right. You mistook grape juice for blood. The murder weapon dripping with blood does not, in fact, exist.
No!
There. That should clear up that pesky accusation.
Wait just a sec. That is... I mean, even a wallet could be deadly if it was wrapped around something heavy. I demand that you show me what's inside. Please.
She's trembling, and the tacked-on please at the end. Sounds like I've got her. There's no need to look inside. Even you can tell from its appearance that it's light.
No, I can't be sure of anything until I see the contents of that wallet for myself.
She's a persistent one. I suppose we have no choice but to see what's inside. Miss Tenero, if you would be so kind as to open the wallet and check its contents for me.
All right. I usually don't pry into passengers' belongings, but we have no choice here.
It seems that this passport is all that's in here. As you saw, there is nothing but a passport inside. This renders your wallet was the murder weapon argument moot. Wouldn't you agree?
Please hear me out, Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it now?
Well, I was wondering, whose passport is it exactly? Can I take a look?
Why not? I'm rather curious myself.
This is... Just as I thought. This travel wallet belonged to Mr. Acby Hicks, which makes it the victim's property. You stole the victim's wallet, didn't you?
How dare you?
You said it yourself. You claimed to be holding this wallet in your hands when I found you. Perhaps I did misconstrue the wallet for the murder weapon, but it seems that I wasn't wrong about who the culprit is.
Why not?
As you claimed, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks after you were done with the vile deed. I find it hard to believe myself, but your motive was very simple. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks' money, weren't you?
So even though I didn't have the murder weapon on me, you still suspect me, I say.
You stood up at the crime scene with the victim's wallet in your hands. How can I turn a blind eye and not suspect you of foul play?
Well, we have to prove her wrong. Again.
As you claimed, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks after you were done with the vile deed. I find it hard to believe myself, but your motive was very simple. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks' money, weren't you?
What kind of baseless accusation is that? Very baseless. I wonder if I might get a word in, Miss Tenero.
What is it now?
Miss Tenero, I wonder if you noticed the contradiction within your own testimony.
What are you talking about?
It's simply impossible that the motive for this murder was monetary theft. One glance at the crime scene should have told you that. And what about this scene would prove that the motive for the murder was not the money, when clearly the money on the floor is proof enough? if I may direct your attention to the things strewn all over the floor.
Ah!
That's right. The floor is covered in bills and coinage. By your rationale, these were the very things the killer was after.
Ah!
I think we can assume that the wallet fell during the victim's struggle with his killer. And I would think that the killer would have noticed something like money scattering everywhere. Furthermore, as you can see, there was no effort made by the killer to gather the money.
But the wallet!
Ah yes, the wallet. You will also recall that the only thing in it was Mr. Hicks' passport.
Ah!
If you are really insisting that it was a crime based on greed, then you're claiming that it was all for an empty travel wallet.
Forgive me! Please!
What a lousy breakdown.
Hey, what the heck? Are you saying that the attendant's wrong? So that guy isn't the killer?
Don't believe it, everyone. It's a trick. Will you all please be quiet? Miss Tenero,
Yes?
you lost your cool when you saw the dead body. Plus, the lounge was dark, and looking into the light from the elevator, it's easy to see how you mistook the wallet in my hand for the murder weapon. I take no offense that you thought that I was the killer.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Thank you for releasing me. What is it now? Miss Tenero, if you could please translate, I'd be much obliged.
It sounds like Virginian, but I don't understand any of it. There's another attendant on this flight who...
I said that he is giving the runabout. I don't require an interpreter. I speak English just well. See? You, the attendant.
Yes, sir?
I want this person to be under the arrest until we arrive at the airport. I'm sorry, but what exactly are you hoping for? What is it you want? I am finished talking to the likes of you. Please, I would like to hear why you would like me to be held under arrest until we land. You! How dare you try to waste my time? You were the one who stuck your nose into my affairs. I wanted to spend even at least one more second with my precious art. I have no time for other things. I know what you are. I see through you. Insolvent. Yes, I am pretty sure that's how you say it in English. Well, I should hope I'm not monetarily bankrupt, but I don't think that's what you meant. I'm sorry, but I don't think I caught your name. I am Cinq LeBlanc II. I am a very wealthy man in the Bourginia. But I am not an ordinary rich man. I am an art dealer, a rich seller of beauty.
Mr. LeBlanc, what did you mean just now?
Pardon?
When you said that Mr. Edgeworth was giving me the runabout.
I have to explain? Unbelievable! I will say it once and only once. I do not have even a second to waste. Time is money, as they say. Yes, and yet you continue to blather on. I saw it. Yes, I did. I saw the victim go onto the elevator, going down to the lounge. It was exactly at 6 o'clock. And what's the significance of that time?
And what's the significance of that time?
At 6, he says. Wait, you saw him at 6?
Ah! What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth?
He understands, I see. Miss Attendant, what time did you discover the body?
Well, it was a little after that patch of turbulence, so I would say around 6:15. Ah!
Hicks was his name, was it? And I say the man Hicks was killed in the 15-minute time span. And the only person in the lounge at that time was this prosecutor, yes? Yeah, I was in my seat the whole time. Me too. I was watching the movie and enjoying a fine glass of grape juice. I was still eating. Still haven't finished, see? The other passengers have an alibi, so you have no problem with them, I suppose. No complaint, I see. Not a single word against this, right? I have no way of discounting what you have put forth at this point. But It wasn't me.
Oh, so you say. But do you have what you say, the evidence?
Mr. Edgeworth, are you really the culprit after all?
Mr. LeBlanc, I suppose you are quite certain in what you saw. Enough to give testimony?
Of course! I was looking at that man the whole time. He was playing with that annoying little, small machine the whole time.
Machine?
Yes, that's what you people call it in English, yes? He was making me crazy with the click, click, click.
From that description, it sounds like some sort of small computer.
I believe what Mr. LeBlanc talking about is a cell phone. I have to say that I did see him playing with it quite a bit myself.
A simple cell phone. A laptop or organizer I could see, but that's kind of low budget.
I hate that noisy little machine in his hand. Not a fragment of beauty. All it produces is ugly sounds. Anyway, I know what I saw.
Miss Tenero,
Yes?
I was wondering if I might be granted permission to examine the crime scene.
What? You want to examine the crime scene?
If you would grant me a little measure of time, I'm sure I can produce the real culprit.
I don't like the sound of that. Fox in the duck pen. Yes, I think that's how you say it in English.
It's Fox guarding the hen house, and I believe my innocence was proven earlier. And if I'm given the chance, I can clear up all the remaining doubts. Miss Tenero, if you wait until we arrive, there is a good chance that some evidence will have been destroyed by then.
I understand. Let me see what the captain has to say.
Ha! This should not be approved.
Please, Mr. LeBlanc, in an emergency, all decisions are to be made by the captain alone. Now, please wait here while I go ask for the captain what to do. I'll be right back.
You are not planning to erase evidence when you are doing your investigation, yes?
Of course not.
Ha! We will see.
Mr. Edgeworth, you have the captain's permission to investigate the crime scene.
What? Unbelievable!
I am in your debt, Miss Tenero.
However, there is one condition. I am to supervise you. Can you agree to that?
Of course. I see no problem with that stipulation. It's only natural as I am still a suspect in this case.
I take full responsibility and will watch Mr. Edgeworth's every move. I hope this is reassurance enough that there will be no foul play. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, shall we proceed?
If you should need my help with anything,
If you should need my help with anything, please feel free to use Exit Talk.
it's time to head to the scene of the crime, the first floor lounge. Indeed. How do I...
In order to preserve the crime scene, I'm afraid the elevator is not in service.
To get to the first floor lounge, we should take...
We should take the stairs.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm having mixed up with my voices. March 12th, 7:26 a.m. Flight G390, first floor lounge. I want to thank you for your help back there, Miss Tenero.
It was nothing. You should thank the captain for granting you permission. And just so everything is perfectly clear, I still don't trust you. Your standing with me hasn't changed one iota.
I see. I will bear that in mind.
I received an order from the captain earlier. He wanted you to know that we reserve the right to stop your investigation if we feel you are not making progress. And when we do, he asked that you please return to your seat at that time.
So my time runs out at his and his crew's discretion, doesn't it? I have to find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's testimony before time's up. I understand. By the way, is there any place you can think of where the killer might hide on board?
I don't think so. After every first-class passenger was accounted for at his or her seat, we made a thorough search of the plane. As for business and economy class, no one can move between those two classes at first class without a staff keycard. And we found no record of a keycard being used at all.
Which means that I have a first-class killer on my hands. At least I know that much for sure. And one other thing. No one else has been allowed near this crime scene since the murder was discovered earlier. Time to begin investigation in the first floor lounge. Now then, let's get started.
But where should we start from?
Let's start with Mr. LeBlanc's statements.
The crime occurred between 6 and 6:15 a.m. During that interval, the only person in the lounge was myself, which would make me the prime suspect. However, since I did not kill Mr. Hicks, it means that the killer was around somewhere. If we are to believe what you say is true, then yes. The first order of business will be to gather information to win your trust. And that's exactly what we're going to do. What floors does this elevator service? Only the first and second, although it can also go down to the cargo hold. However, that requires a flight crew key card. So the only floors accessible to passengers are the first and second floor, huh? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. What is this sinister-looking figure on the bottom? Oh, that's a piggy bank to our company mascot, Captain Hugo. It's just one of the many pieces of merchandise we sell at our in-flight shop. This bank is a limited edition and is so popular that we're down to our last one. You have an in-flight shop? Yes, it's just beyond the lounge to the right. The shutter to the store is closed at the moment, but it was open the whole flight up until Mr. Hicks' body was discovered. There's blood on here. Could this have been the murder weapon? I wonder what was hanging off of this lanyard. Something's missing from this picture. Now if I could just put my finger on it. There's something sticking out of his pocket. Hope you won't mind if I take a look at what's inside. It's a picture. It looks like it was taken inside a building somewhere. I see. We've already analyzed it. Now we need to examine the body. I doubt anyone was expecting to find a dead body in an elevator on this flight. So Mr. Hicks, he's really dead? Yes. She's trembling, although I can't fault her for that when there's a corpse right there. Mr. Hicks, if you're really dead, then please answer. Yes. I see she's over the trembling now, although a new symptom seems to have appeared. Anyway, I should focus on the victim's body. Let's see. There's blood on the backs of Mr. Hicks's head. Could this be the cause of death? He appears to have been struck very hard. Blunt force trauma. Even his glasses are broken. Well, it's time to deduce. Time to deduce it with that photo we found. This. Eureka! Mr. Hicks' machine is nowhere to be found. His machine? His cell phone, Miss Tenero. Ah, so I guess because it's not here. Yes, I think we can safely deduce that the killer took it. Missing cell phone data, jot it down. Now we need to examine elsewhere. Money is strewn all over the floor of this elevator. I would guess it was all in Mr. Hicks' wallet at some point. Indeed. There's no grape juice residue on the soles of his shoes, making it highly unlikely that Mr. Hicks entered the elevator after the turbulence. So there's not much else we can expect. Let's inspect here. There's some spilled grape juice in front of the elevator. I assume it was spilled during the turbulence. Oh, we must clean that up or someone might get hurt. Aha! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I found some very important evidence. What is the important piece of evidence in this scene? Simple! The footprints! Take that! What is it? They're a little smudged, but I think we can both agree that they are a set of footprints. So you think? Yes, these belong to our killer. Oh, then maybe we should check the shoe sizes of everyone in first class. I don't think that will be of any help to us. Unfortunately, the prints are too smudged, which will make it hard to get a definitive match. Oh, I see. Okay, time to begin our logic. First things first, we have the BFT, blunt force trauma, with the murder weapon, Captain Hugo. In the DS version, it was known as Mr. I-Fly. I guess they decided to do that with the original name. A statue with blood on it lying next to the body of a man who was beaten to death. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, I think I figured something out.
Yes? What is it?
The way the blood is on this, it looks like it matches up with the wound on his head.
Well, aren't we deserving of the Master of the Obvious title?
Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't you think that's worth investigating?
It would appear that this figurine is our murder weapon.
Oh, I just knew it. I mean, I can't think of any other connection.
Perhaps Master the Oblivious would be more befitting. Captain, you go piggy bank down. It's known as I Fly. Where was the killer? And in the elevator. True, there wasn't anyone else in the lounge other than myself right before the turbulence. But if the killer was in the elevator along with the victim, then that's a different story. Yeah, and if he was in the elevator with Hicks, then that can explain the spilled grape juice. I have it.
I'm sorry, but I don't understand, Mr. Edgeworth.
I can prove that someone other than myself was here around the time of the murder.
What? Really?
Yes. It's rather simple, actually. The proof is in the pudding, or rather the grape juice in this case. These footsteps here confess to me this very fact, that someone exited the elevator alive. Seeing as how the victim is dead, that would mean a second person.
But couldn't the footprints be from Mr. Hicks himself?
Ah, but if you take a look at our victim's shoes, you can see the soles are spotless.
Which means...
Mr. Hicks wasn't alone in the elevator. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There was actually one other person inside the elevator. Now we got that. Investigation complete. What's going on over there?
Unforgivable! This is unforgivable! Do you understand what I am saying? The movie is late! It is the same level of bad as if the plane arrived late!
But the movie...
What? I will not talk to you anymore. You are just wasting my time.
What is the matter, Mr. LeBlanc?
If there is
no emergency, please return to your seat, sir.
Do not tell me what to do. I need not to sit down. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, did you prove you are innocent yet?
If you would like, I will prove my innocence to you right now.
What? Nonsense! Are you saying my eyewitness testimony is mistaken?
Not mistaken, merely that there is room for doubt. I'd be most honored if you could please tell me what you saw in detail once more.
Fine. Suit yourself. Alright. Testimony. What I saw. I am certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter that elevator. It was when the needles on my pocket watch pointed to the 6 and the 12. The body was discovered 15 minutes after that in the lounge, yes? And you, the only person in the lounge at the time, must be the criminal.
Mr. LeBlanc's concussions seem to make logical sense. After all, the only person in the lounge at that supposed time of the murder was me.
So, my eyewitness testimony. If you think you can destroy it, then come. Let me see. Hurry! Do I look like a man who is having the time to wait for you?
Why is he so irritated? I'm the one accused of murder here. Anyway, I must find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's logic account somehow, and fast. Time for the rebuttal.
I am certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter the elevator.
Mr. LeBlanc, were you able to get a good look at the inside of the elevator at that time?
Of course, I saw what was inside.
And you are sure that the victim was in the elevator alone?
Yes, the only person inside was that Mr. Hicks man.
This last outfit is a bit too important to let go.
The only person inside was that Mr. Hicks man.
Are you really sure about that? Because I doubt it. The footprints speak for itself. Mr. LeBlanc.
What is it?
There is a very glaring contradiction in your testimony.
What do you mean?
Please take a look at the area in front of the elevator. There, at the spilled grape juice.
Yes, and? Will you admit you also spilled it with the blood?
No, it spilled itself during the turbulence. But the interesting thing here is the set of grape juice footprints.
Footprints?
Yes, the ones that lead from within the elevator out into the lounge itself. It's evidence that proves that someone other than Mr. Hicks exited the elevator alive. There must have been another person in the elevator with Mr. Hicks. Now then, I'm done playing games. Why don't you tell us the truth?
Can you please translate for us? No way. That's totally impossible, I guess is what he said.
No way! That is totally impossible! I know there was no other person in there. I saw it in my own eyes!
If you want to know what I think, Mr. Edgeworth, I don't think Mr. LeBlanc is lying to us.
I suppose she's right. He doesn't seem to be lying. But then, what does it mean? What about this contradiction? Mr. LeBlanc, please, just once more, will you recall the details of what you witnessed for me?
Fine! What I saw part 2. I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat. I was always checking the time, over and over again. I happened to follow that man with my eyes when he passed me, and I saw clearly into the elevator he was entering. I swear there was no one else inside. No one!
Mr. LeBlanc, if you would please calm down.
What? Dare you two have an issue with my eyewitness testimony?
No, not at all. Please forget I said anything.
Yet again, he doesn't appear to be lying. But I can't let this testimony stand as the truth. We're gonna have to prove him wrong. Again.
I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat.
So are you still upset now?
I am always upset. The only time I am not is when I have a piece of art in my hands.
It's surprisingly easy to believe that about him.
But I was even more upset when Mr. Hicks walked by me. I was always checking the time, over and over again. I happened to follow that man with my eyes when he passed me. And I saw clearly into the elevator he was entering. But I swear, there was no one else inside. No one!
Mr. LeBlanc doesn't seem to be lying. I may need to draw more information out of him before I see anything inconsistent. He's right. We should.
I was always checking the time over and over again.
Why were you so attentive to the time?
Because something unforgivable was happening.
I'ma think of it, you were yelling about something unforgivable earlier.
I was giving a complaint to the attendant about the movie's starting time. Return back to me my time and money. You understand the point?
Movie? Is he talking about the in-flight one that's mentioned in the magazine? A summary of the plot and its start time. Interesting.
They were supposed to show License to Love, Laugh, Maim, and Murder. I cannot see that movie in my country. You can only see it on international flights. I look forward greatly to that movie. I checked my pocket watch whenever possible so I would not miss it. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came abroad. So my watch is not wrong. It matched the schedule. But the movie was still late. Very, very late.
Your pocket watch. I'd like to ask you a little more about it if that's alright.
The movie I wanted to see would not start, so I checked my pocket watch many times.
So this movie you mentioned, is it the one listed in the Sky magazine?
Yes! I was so looking forward to watching License to Love, Laugh, Maim, and Murder.
Miss Ternero, was this movie shown on this flight?
Yes, it was shown at the scheduled time.
Isn't it possible you simply slept through it by accident?
Nonsense! You doubt me? No! Now stop pointing at me like that!
Odd. How did he miss a movie that he was clearly hoping to see?
I checked my pocket watch a great number of times. That much I know for sure. My watch is set to my destination's time. I always set it when I board the plane.
Really? Is that right? How about we prove it with this? Mr. LeBlanc, you said this just now in your testimony.
I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came on board.
Now, if your watch has been set to our destination's time zone, it would mean that your watch is displaying the time of our destination.
Yes, and the correct time is worth its 6 cents.
I would like you to take a look at this. If you believe this Sky magazine, clocks on this flight run in accordance with the time of our departure time zone. Of course, the movie schedule was also created with that in mind.
Miss Tenero, for confirmation's sake, what time zone is this flight aligned to right now? Well, we made a short stop at a transfer point. That's right. It was in that small Asian country, the Republic of Shangfa. But we didn't readjust our onboard clocks at that time. So right now we are still running on Borginian time.
What?
The time difference between Borginia and our destination is 9 hours. In that case, it's only natural that your watch will be out of sync with the schedule.
What?
Further, with your analog watch set to our destination's time, it would appear to be running 3 hours fast when compared to the flight's onboard clocks. It also changes everything about your testimony, and you can bet 1 million cents on that. And if anyone asks, 1 million cents is the equivalent of $10,000. Now let's continue. In light of this information, it means you saw Mr. Hicks 3 hours prior at 3 a.m.
My 1 million cents!
This should clear up all the remaining accusations.
So this basically widens the time frame for the time of death, right?
Yes, because Mr. LeBlanc saw the victim enter the elevator at 3 a.m. It means that the time of death could be anywhere from 3 to 6:15 a.m. The question now is, where was Mr. Hicks during that span of time? And what was he doing?
I've got something to say.
And you are?
Yeah, I'm Cammy Neal. I'm a flight attendant.
And what is it you wish to say?
Well, I think your story is a little different from how I remember it. What do you mean, Cammy? I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know.
What? How can you be so sure of the time?
Oh, that's right. He pushed his call button while we were parked at the transfer point.
Ah, the stop we made for our refueling and cargo transfer in Zangfar, correct?
Yes, it was from 4 to 5 according to our clocks.
And during that time, did any of the passengers leave or did any new ones board this flight?
No, not a single person got off or on in Shangfar.
What about the flight crew?
The few who were handling the cargo transfer might have temporarily gone on or off. But eventually everyone, including Cammy and myself, came back on the plane.
So basically, I can assume that no one left or gone on since our initial takeoff. Interesting. I should keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I answered his call. I can tell you Mr. Acme Hess was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 a.m.
Alright, then that puts the time of the murder between 5 and 6:15 a.m.
Okay, now what time did you come down to the lounge, Mr. Edgeworth?
I remember coming down here almost as soon as we left the Republic of Zangfa.
You were here the whole time from 5, yes? Then you are the only one who could be the killer.
Mr. Edgeworth, were you really here in this lounge the entire time from 5 a.m. onwards?
Unfortunately, yes.
But then how do we explain the footprints?
It's not that obvious. This man waited for Mr. Hicks here in this lounge, waited to kill him, and then he put the corpse into the elevator. That is when the turbulence happened. My eyewitness testimony may have been mistaken, but what time I saw Mr. Hicks enter that elevator on the 2nd floor does not matter, because the entire incident concluded here in this lounge.
Everything happened in this lounge? Is that what you really believe, Mr. LeBlanc?
What? Do you have another idea?
I simply feel that there is something out of place in the scenario you presented. Is there something that can tie this crime to a location other than this lounge? Yeah, the Yugo piggy bank. What else?
Take that!
The murder weapon, this little piggy bank, is sold at the in-flight shop. It is sold there and only there, and is not displayed here in this lounge. Now, how then did it find its way here? Don't you find that a tiny bit suspicious?
Such a trivial point. It only means you prepared it, taking it from the shop first before coming here. It doesn't prove you're innocent at all.
Is there no way to win this, man?
If I may.
What is it?
You see, well, it's just as Mr. Edgeworth says.
Oh, and why do you know this so well?
Well, it's just that piggy bank was there in the shop. I saw it with my own eyes.
And when was this?
It was maybe around 5:40 a.m.
Isn't that just before we hit that patch of turbulence?
That's right.
You were in the shop just before the turbulence?
Yes, I was.
Come to think of it, Miss Tenero, when I found the body, I believe you came out of that door.
Yes, I did.
And what is beyond that door?
That's the flight attendant's room.
Then you were on the first floor?
Yes.
I had
to do something at the shop and the in-flight attendant's room. So I went to the shop first and then to the flight attendant's room.
Are you saying you passed by me at some point?
Yes, you seemed really into the issue of Sky magazine you were reading at the time. I don't suppose you noticed me walking by.
I vaguely recall someone walking by, but I didn't take notice of who it was.
Anyway, the piggy bank was definitely there at the shop when I went there.
Why did you go to the shop in the first place?
I went there for a work-related matter.
Work, you say?
Yes, the upkeep of the shop is also one of my responsibilities.
Why did you not say anything about that until now is what I want to know.
In any case, I believe it's clear that the shop needs to be investigated as well.
Shall we head over there then?
What is it now?
Aren't you forgetting something, Miss Rhoda? Don't you need the captain's permission to check the shop? No, I haven't forgotten, but I have already asked him for permission to search the entire plane, so I think we're all right. Huh? That's weird.
What is?
Well, I just talked to the captain, see? And he said that he didn't give you permission to do anything like that at all.
What is the meaning of this, Miss Tenero?
It means she's lying. Go on. Admit that you are. You said you had permission to search all over, but you don't. And yet, here you are.
You, flight attendant, what are you trying to do? Pull the sheep over us?
The captain's calling for you, Miss Rhoda. Oh, but don't worry. I already got permission to search the shop from the captain. See, unlike you, I do things the right way.
Miss Tenero, why would you do such a thing?
Please excuse me. Looks like I get to be in charge now. Please go back to your seat, Mr. LeBlanc. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you would follow me, I would be your guide from now on.
There's something about Miss Tenero that has piqued my curiosity. But right now, investigating the in-flight shop is my top priority. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. March 12th, 8:32 a.m., Flight G390, first floor, in-flight shop. So this is the in-flight shop. It's quite a mess in here.
You think? Guess I'll have to clean things up then.
Hold on! You can't clean up a potential crime scene.
Oh, thank goodness. I hate cleaning so much.
I mustn't rush things here. I must remain cool, calm, and collected. Because this piggy bank was left at the crime scene. There is a very good chance that the killer had paid this place a visit. Begin investigation. What are these?
Oh, those are our company's completely original line of suitcases. They're practically flying out the door. That's how popular they are. You should buy one and see how you like it. You won't regret it.
Perhaps that's how things work on this flight, but in the real world, you try, then buy.
No way, but either way, it doesn't really matter.
True. Either way, why would anyone would buy a suitcase after they've boarded the plane?
Anyway, see that? Just look at all the Captain Hugo heads painted on it there. Cute company mascot, isn't he? They're painted on with a lot of care. Doesn't he look like he's about to jump out at you?
It is certainly making something jump inside my stomach.
Huh? Oh, I guess there's no fooling your refined taste. You look like you really wanted to get one. And I thought I was gonna go finally make my first sale, but you saw right through it. Well, that's done though. Never made me try to give you a sales pitch ever again, okay?
But I never showed any interest in it to begin with.
It really is pretty horrible, isn't it? You want to know something? This suitcase was designed by Miss Rhoda.
Miss Tenero designed this?
Yeah, it was a company-wide contest.
Well, It does have a very sharp design sense.
Sharp? Like stinky sharp cheddar, maybe. I really have no idea why the bigwigs decided to go with it. It's so... blah.
Miss Tenero designed this, did she? It's definitely not what I would have expected.
Ah! You okay?
I'm fine. Please watch yourself, Miss Meal. Letting a suitcase freely roll around is going to be a safety violation.
Here, I'll put it back.
Much better. Yikes. The glass from this display case's door is shattered all over the floor, and it looks like there's nothing on display inside either. Wait, actually, I think there is something. What's this? A mini captain's hat. Let's do a bit of logic. Yep, Captain Ugo with the hat. The hat probably used to be on the piggy bank's head. Let's give it a go and see. I believe this piggy bank was forcibly removed from this display case. Does this mean that the killer broke the glass to get at it? Maybe.
Eh? Really?
Don't tell me you don't know what things go where the shop.
Well, I don't. Miss Rhoda's in charge of this place. So come on, how should I know anything?
I sense that further inspection of this display case is needed. Yup, we've already investigated it. Now let's investigate it even further. Time to highlight this empty space. The glass on this door is broken. Perhaps it was the killer who broke it in order to take the piggy bank, but it's a bit odd that the inside of the case is so devoid of glass shards. Plus the glass broke rather cleanly.
Ah!
What is it?
I touched the glass and it cut my finger. It hurts, Mr. Edgeworth, it hurts!
Please tell me you can deal with such a minor cut on your own. You're right. We should at least deduce that space. Yes, it is connected to any of the evidence. That piggy bank, for instance. There is definitely something very unusual about this.
About what?
If the killer had broken the glass to get at the Captain Hugo bank, there should be shards of glass inside the case itself.
Ooh, I see. Yeah, I guess it'd be like that.
However, there's not a single piece of glass inside the display case.
Nope, no there isn't.
Which means that the glass was broken from the inside out. The piggy bank must have fallen over from the turbulence and right through the glass.
Yeah, that's for sure. There's so much glass all over the floor.
I'm willing to bet that this hat was knocked off its head at the time, too.
Eh? That's nice.
Which leads me to believe that the killer took the Captain Hugo bank from here after the turbulence. Good point. Take your power naps on your own time, Miss Meal, and listen when I'm talking.
What?
But the murder occurred before the turbulence, which rules this piggy bank out as the murder weapon.
So you mean the bank's not the real murder weapon? It's a fake?
Yes, at this point there is a very real possibility.
But then what if when the killer went to take Captain Hugo, they broke the glass by accident?
The display case is locked, so it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, but there's one person who could've.
Oh, and who would that be?
Miss Rhoda, of course. I mean, she's the one in charge of this place, so she has the keys to everything.
Miss Rhoda Tenero, huh? Interesting. Now let's use turbulence with suitcase. Yes, there is definitely something wrong here.
What's with the sudden yelling?
Tell me, Miss Meal, don't you think there's something strange about these suitcases?
Oh, well, sure, they totally ooze strange. Like the color and the such.
That's not what I'm talking about. Now pay attention.
Ah, you're scaring me, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sorry. These suitcases are lined up a bit too prim and proper.
Yeah, they look a bit uptight, don't they? But I guess they take after their creator.
Again, that's not what I meant, Miss Meal. Don't you find it unusual that the cases are the only things undisturbed by the turbulence? Never mind, I'd sooner find an answer by inspecting these suitcases myself. Upon closer inspection, they really are quite hideous.
I wonder how Miss Rhoda would have reacted if she heard what you just said. What's wrong?
She makes a good point. It would be wise of me to watch what I say out loud.
What's this?
I've spotted something that's not quite right. What is so unusual about the suitcase? Yeah, there is something odd about this. But where? The bottom of the left suitcase. Right here.
Take that!
There's something very peculiar about these wheels.
Huh? As in,
there are no stoppers in place on these. Without stoppers, one would think that the turbulence would have sent it flying.
and?
And so it is very likely that this suitcase was placed here after we hit that turbulence. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Yup, right here. What's this? The wheel is completely covered in something. This color and this scent, it appears the substance in question is grape juice. But why would there be juice on the wheel of a suitcase? It would appear to be unlocked. Let's take a look at what's inside. A piece of cloth. And it's soaked with blood.
Ah! It's blood!
It appears that this suitcase is very strongly tied to a murder after all. Investigation complete.
So explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder?
I believe it's pretty safe to say that the killer used this suitcase in some manner. Such as to move something, perhaps?
Eh? But aren't you just talking about the cloth then?
That alone is too small. A larger item would be needed to move what I'm thinking of. The thing I believe the killer used this suitcase to transport is this. The crime scene notes.
Take that!
Something that would fit inside a suitcase that is also covered in blood. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it?
But...
In light of this, I'd say that Mr. Hicks was moved into the elevator from someplace else, which means that the murder was committed in an entirely different location.
So you're saying that after moving the body into the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase in here and just left it?
Exactly. What is it?
Nothing. Just that I was thinking about what Miss Rhoda said about coming here for something. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. I wanted to give you a bit more time, but I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he has allowed you ample time. He says that he appreciated if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat.
I understand his sentiments. However, if I'm not allowed to complete my investigation, the crime scene may become contaminated by the time we land. If I must stop, then I insist I be allowed to oversee the preservation of the two sites. Under your supervision, of course.
If that's your only condition, then I believe we can accommodate your wishes. I'm here to assist you in any way that I can, Mr. Edgeworth. Sounds like fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together.
I found proof that the real crime scene was not in the lounge, and I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. And yet, regarding what Miss Meal reminded me about Miss Tenero, I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. Don't worry, we'll be continuing that shortly. Yep, that is it. That is it with this part. Start of Case 2 of Ace Attorney Investigations. I will see you in the next. Though knowing me, I'm going to get as much as I can done, no matter the cost. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I will see you in the next. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by Capcom.